Finally, a watch that can take your blood pressure. All you need to do is go into the apps, hit blood pressure, and we'll let it go. And there you have it. Now, obviously, I sped up the test here, but it only takes about a minute to get the result. Now, this is the Udfine Gear Pro, and it measures the blood pressure with just the regular watch sensors. No special cuff here or anything like that. No holding the buttons or anything. Just wearing the watch and hit the button, and you get the blood pressure, which is great. Now, of course, the company says this product is not designed as a medical device, nor is it intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. But I think this is really cool, and it can give you a lot of data into your own personal health. Now, the Udfine company, which you may not have heard of, but it's been around since 2014, and it is a sub-brand of Xiaomi, which I'm sure you heard of. Now, I want to thank Udfine for sending me this review unit, but there was no other compensation given, and this review, of course, is my opinion. Now, there are pros and cons to all watches and gadgets, and I'll go over all of them in this video, but first pro is the initial unbox. Again, this is the Udfine Gear Pro, and these are some of the features that are there. We're going to go into details on all of these things. And you can see some other features of the watch here. But in the box, you actually get this strap, which is a reversible strap, and a magnetic one, which is really nice and holds on really tight. And then you get another strap. In case you didn't like the first one, you got this one here. You also get a screen protector, which is wonderful. And I know you're saying, Paul, big deal, you're getting a strap and a screen protector. But this is actually nice. I mean, sometimes straps are $20. A screen protector could be $10. That's $30 extra that they include in the box. Plus, you know the screen protector is going to fit the watch, which you don't always know if you buy it from a third party. So that is, like I said, a great thing that they're including this in the box. How many other manufacturers are doing that? And you get a manual here, but don't worry, you don't need to read it. I'm going to go through everything. Let's talk about the build quality. This is an aluminum alloy frame. It looks really nice there. I'm going to get into the details of everything in a moment here. But there is a mic on there, and there is the speaker. I'm not sure what the glass is made out of, but again, they do give you the screen protector, so that's a nice feature to give you a little extra peace of mind. And you got two buttons over here. This is a rotating crown. I don't know if you could hear it, but there is actually a physical click every time you rotate this, which is really nice. Most other watches just have a little haptic vibration every time you move, and it's kind of an artificial thing. This is actually a physical click every time you rotate it, every step, which is really nice. Then you have the button here, which controls a couple of things. We'll get into the details of the buttons in a little bit. Now, the crown here is just a little stiffer than most, but you get used to it pretty quick, and you could rotate it really easy, even just with the one finger. And with the two fingers, it's obviously much easier. Now, I love that the watch has a mic and speaker, so it's able to make and take phone calls, which, you know, I don't do a lot, but when your hands are not free and someone's giving you a call and your phone's in your pocket or your bag or something like that, it's a really big convenience to have that on the watch. And I'll show you how the phone feature works on this a little bit. As of now, there are two colors for this watch. It comes in black and silver, and you get two different band colors here, depending on which watch you pick. There's only one size on this, and it's a 1.99-inch square screen. So the fit and finish on this is actually very good. It feels very tight. The buttons feel nice. Like I said, the rotating crown feels really premium. This definitely is looking like a more expensive watch than it is. I'll get into the price in a minute. This is rated for 5 atmospheres. Now, if you enable a water sport, the watch will automatically lock the screen, so the water droplets aren't interfering with the screen and turning things on and off, which is really nice that it does that automatically. And then after you're done with your workout, the watch will automatically drain the mic and speaker with the vibration and audio tones. Now, again, you get two straps with the watch. This is a magnetic one that just goes on there, and it's reversible. Let me show you the other color. And this is the orange. Again, just magnetically locks on there, which is great. And it's a very tight magnet, so this feels very secure on. And this is the one that came on the watch, just a regular clasp there. Then it just slides on behind, which I'm not really a big fan of. I like it more when it's on the outside, but, you know, it's really comfortable, and that's what that looks like. It's nice that you get two bands there, and again, one is reversible, so that gives you kind of like three different options of straps here. Now, if you don't like either of these straps, that's okay. You're able to replace with any 22mm standard band, which is really nice that it's not a proprietary band. So this is the Redmi Watch 5 Lite, and I did a review on this recently. You could check my channel out for that. But you can see here the prongs stick out, and that's where the band is. This one, you know, it's kind of just flush there, so there's nothing sticking out. There's no prongs sticking out. That just looks a little more modern to me, a little nicer here. So the band is kind of just tucked in underneath. Again, just different preference, just pointing it out to you. Let's talk about the battery. This comes with a 350 milliamp battery, and Udfine says that it should last you about 12 days on a charge, and that's with regular use. If you use the always-on display, then you're obviously going to go through that quicker. For me, I had all the sensors on, and I used it for sleep tracking every night, but no always-on display, and I got about 10 days out of it. So definitely a good battery life. Now it also has a battery manager of sorts, so let me just show you that. Okay, so first off, this is the app that you need to run this watch. It's called the Very Fit app. You can download this from the Apple or the Google stores. And let's get into it, and I'm going to show you quickly what the battery manager looks like. Now, you can also change the theme in the background here. So you got these clouds. You can change that to a couple of different things. I'll show you that in a minute. So there's 4 portions of the app here. I'm going to go into Device, and then we're going to click on the actual watch. And if you scroll up here, you can see a couple of things. The battery life instructions. This is what I'm going to focus on here. This tells you kind of what is using a lot of your battery. So if you have some features enabled that are using a lot of battery, it will kind of recommend that you change them. And then if you see here, well, the automatic blood oxygen measurement. So if I click on that, it takes me right to the setting that I need to change. And then I could go ahead and just turn it off if I want. Same thing with the heart rate. Some battery managers, it just tells you what's going on. But this one actually lists it so I can go here and I don't have to find the heart rate measurement in the setting. It just takes me right to it. And now I can go ahead and change that. And I'll show you how to get to that normally. But that's a nice feature that if you're not getting the battery life that you think, check that out and see what features are using a lot of batteries, and then you can modify them to save some battery possibly. I almost forgot to tell you, this is the battery charger that comes with it, a USB-A over here, and this is a magnetic pin, so it just attaches right to this. And the magnet is actually pretty strong. Some watches you clip it and then you put it down and it loses connection and you think it's charging and then you go to check it and it's dead. But this actually is a pretty strong magnet, so no problems with that. Let's talk a little bit more about the display. It's a 1.99-inch Ultra AMOLED display with an always-on display, which is great. It has a resolution of 466 by 494, and it has a PPI of 332. So basically that means it's a pretty premium screen. The colors pop very nicely on here, and they look really sharp. The details are very good. You can see the defined numbers on here very easily, and the colors are very bright and sharp. Now, the thing I really like about this, which I shouldn't like so much, is if you just scroll this way, you get that second screen. And what this does, it gives you the time there, and it gives you the weather, and then it gives you 6 apps. And these are the last 6 apps that you use. So you can't customize them, but if you're using the watch, you're probably using, only a few apps here, and then that basically means that all the apps that you use frequently will be right here all the time. So all you need to do is swipe over to get it, and then you just swipe it away to get rid of it. And I'll go over the navigation of the watch in just a moment. But let me just show you the always-on display first. There's actually 2 options that you have on this. So we're going to swipe down here, get into Settings, and I'm going to go into the always-on display settings. So now once it's on, now it gives you the face and it gives you the starting time. So you can schedule this, which is really nice because you probably don't want this on at night, right? But if I click on the always-on face, this or that, those are my 2 choices. And there's nothing you can do with any of these, and this will be, no matter what the watch face is, these are the 2 always-on displays that you get, but you get an analog and a digital, so that's nice. Okay, let me show you the bezels on the watch. Now this watch face shows you the bezels really well. Now Udfine says that the bezels are ultra-narrow black borders. That might be a little bit of exaggeration, but the bezels are not too bad here. They're just a little thick, especially on the top and bottom, but not too bad. So this watch has a peak brightness of 800 nits, which is not the brightest watch in the world, but it is actually bright enough. Even in direct sunlight, I was able to see everything. I didn't test the actual nits on this, but I felt like the display was brighter than 800 nits. Usually companies, overestimate things, but I feel like this was maybe an underestimation because I felt like the watch was very bright everywhere. There is a con on the display. There is no light sensor on this, so there is no auto brightness, which is definitely a miss. And to compensate that for a little bit, there's a quick toggle to get to it very quickly, and you can change the brightness very quickly. Because sometimes watches, they don't have the auto brightness, and then you have to go into the settings and go 3 steps in just to change the brightness, which is very difficult to do when you can't see the watch. But this one, it's very quick. You just get into the quick toggles here, and then you just tap this one, and you can see here we go to 60, 80, 100, and then back down to 20%. So it's very easy to toggle through that. Even if it's very bright out and you're having a little bit of an issue seeing it, you could adjust it very quickly. The watch has a 60 hertz refresh rate, and I had no issues swiping through everything. It went very quickly, no stutters or anything like that. Now, there are 2 other cons on this one, and let me just show you here. We're going to get into Settings, and we're going to get into Display. So I have a raise to wake, but I could just toggle it on and off. I can't schedule it at all. So it would be nice if I could schedule that for sleeping or, if I don't need it when I'm at a meeting or something like that. And then it does have cover to sleep, which is nice. So you just cover the screen, and then it will dark out, and then you could turn that on and off again, which is a nice feature. The other con, though, is there is no tap to wake on this. So if the screen's off, the only way to turn it on is hitting a button or raising it to turn it on, which is not that big of a con, but I prefer to have the tap to wake. I like that feature. The company does give you some nice customizations on here, and you can actually pick through 5 different themes. So let me just show you that. We're going to go into the settings here and theme. Click on here, and these are the different themes. Now, it's also nice, they tell you, they give you the options, which is really nice, but then they actually show you a sample of what the icons look like, so you don't have to keep clicking through them and testing it out and see what it looks like. You can see exactly right here what you're going to get. Then, you also do have 3 different ways to list your apps. So I have this is my list, which is my favorite on all my watches, but there's some other things that you can do. So let's get into settings, and we go into app view. Then I have list right there. Then I have grid. Let me show you what that looks like right there. I don't really care for this, but that's what it is. Let's swipe out of here. Let's get back into settings. And then I'm going to go into the app view again, and we're going to do waterfall. And so this is what you get. And then you can kind of, change the size of it, and then you can move around. So, that's kind of a nice little feature. And if you know what the icons look like, it makes it very easy to find everything. But I like the list. Let me just show you the navigation on this. As I showed you a little bit before, you swipe down, you get your quick toggles here. And this is the do not disturb. That's your brightness. This is your raise to wake. This is your flashlight, your water lock, your settings, setting an alarm clock. This is your battery manager. And then this is find your phone. So all pretty nice things that you can get into. If you swipe up, you're going to get into your messages. If you swipe over, you go through your tiles. We're just going to go through these quick. And then it just ends. So then you have to go scroll back the other way or hit the button to get back. Then if you scroll over this way, we get that little quick panel that I really like with the last 6 icons that you used. And you just swipe it away. Now for the buttons, there is a little bit of a miss here. I'll get into that in a second, but it's nice that the crown does something right away. A lot of watches, on the home screen, you move the crown and it doesn't do anything, which I really don't like. But on this one, you turn the crown, you get right into your tiles. So now if you hit the button once, you go to your app list. If you hit the button again, you go back to your home screen. But if you double press it, it doesn't do anything. It just, goes back to your app list. And then push and hold doesn't do anything. So that's a little bit of a disappointment. The other thing is you can't customize any of these buttons, which kind of stinks. It would be nice if I could just double click it and open up an app really fast, or push and hold and open up the voice assistant or something like that. So that might come with the software update, but that as of it is now, that's what you got. Now we also have another button, but it doesn't do that much either. So if I'm away from the home screen, I click and I go back to the home screen, which is nice. Now this one actually takes you all the way back to the home screen, and this will take you back just once. So what I mean by that is if I scroll over here, I get into my activity, I click on this, and then I'm going to scroll down. Right now I'm into like 3 menus here. Now if I hit this, I just go back once to where that one was. Now if I go back to where I was, if I hit this button, I go all the way back to the home screen, which is nice if you're in some of the setting menus and there's 2 or 3 or 4 menus in. You just hit this one, you go all the way back. This one, you just go back once, which is a nice feature. The double press on this one doesn't do anything. And if you press and hold, then you get the power menu here. Again, would be nice if we could customize those a little bit more. I like that the crown actually is set up to do things on almost every screen. So if I click over here, I go into the activities, I could scroll through like this. Whereas a lot of watches, the crown just doesn't do something on this menu, or it doesn't cycle through the widgets or anything like that. Almost on every screen, this crown will do something. I could not find any listed info for the RAM or storage available, but this does have a dual-core chip. Now, the dual-core chip basically means that things that don't need a lot of energy is run by the more efficient chip, and things that need a lot of energy turns on the bigger chip. Now, this happens seamlessly in the background, so you're not aware this is happening at all, but the company says that this should save you 20%. The watch has Bluetooth 5.3, and it connected to my phone perfectly and kept a solid connection the whole time I was using it. So there is no Wi-Fi on this, and there is no NFC, so you can't make any payments with this, and you can't pair your buds or any health devices with the watch. And you also can't store any music on the watch. As of now, there is no LTE version of this, and a feature that I love that is actually missing on this one is that I don't get a disconnection alert. When my phone and watch become separated, meaning I left my watch in a restaurant or a store or work or something like that, the watch gives me a disconnection notice to let me know that I don't have my phone with me right now. And that gives me a heads up to go run back and get my phone, right? This one doesn't give me the disconnection alert, which, again, I wish that was included in it. Let me talk about the sensors now. So there is a 24-hour heart rate, blood oxygen, stress, cycle tracking, and sleep monitoring. I'll show you the sleep monitoring in just a moment. You also get a high and low heart rate alerts, a low SpO2 alert, and a high stress alert. I'll show you how to adjust these settings in a moment. So let's talk about the accuracy on this. The heart rate was actually very accurate. It was sometimes a little higher than my other watches, but usually it was right on. And as usual with watch sensors, you do lose a little bit when your heart rate's changing quickly. Like if you're doing interval training or if you're just starting your exercise, there is a little bit of a lag for the watch to catch up to your heart rate. But on this one, it was actually a shorter lag than most other watches. So the heart rate was actually very accurate, I thought. Okay, so let me show you how to adjust these things. Now, we're just going to scroll here and let's find our heart rate. We'll click on this. Now, if I just click on, you get the information here, obviously. But if I click on the gear, and now I could do the notifications, so I do get the high heart rate and low heart rate alerts, and the continuous measurement. There is no frequency I can change on this, so it's either on or off. But I do get the high heart rate and low heart rate alerts, and I could change them to these options right here. I'm going to turn that off for now, and then the low heart rate, these are your options. You just tap there, and that's it. Let's not save. So it's the same thing for any other feature here. If you go into SPO2, same thing, we got the data here, and I could do, the week, the month, or whatever you want. But if I could just click the settings here, I could allow the notifications, and I got the blood pressure measurement. I could turn it on or off. I can't toggle the actual frequency here. But I do have the low blood oxygen reminder. I can click on that, and then I could change the amount. And I'm not going to save that. And that's the same thing for stress on this. Just go into here, click up there, and I got the same thing. Now, I could also do it if I go into devices here. I'm going to click up here, and I'm going to go into health tracking. So if I click on this, now I'm going to go into heart rate. And you can see the ones that are listed here. Let's go into heart rate. And you got the same page I had before. And the same thing here with stress. Same options. SPO2, same options right here. Now I also want to talk about the step counter. I was actually losing faith because the last couple of watches I tested, the daily step counter was just way off. I don't know what was going on. But this daily counter was actually very accurate compared it to a couple of different watches. Usually the Samsung 7 Ultra, and again, it was within 1% of that daily count. And then if you put it into exercise mode, like you're telling it you're going for a walk or a run or something like that, then it was even more accurate. So the step count on this was very accurate for the daily total and for the actual exercise total. The watch does not have a built-in GPS, it uses your phone's GPS instead, but it maintained a strong connection and I had no issues with the GPS at all. Now, not expected at this price point, but there is no offline maps and you can't download GPX files to it. Okay, so let's talk about the workouts here, because this is a fitness watch. There are 100 plus sport modes on here, but the watch can only hold 12 at a time, and I'll show you how that works in a minute. It also supports auto detection of walking, running, rowing machines, and the elliptical machines. So let me show you what I am talking about here. So this is the home page. We're going to scroll over to get to exercise. So this is the exercise page. This is outdoor walk. If I scroll it over once, I'm going to get outdoor run. And I scroll it over again, I get outdoor cycle. And I'm back to outdoor walk. So there's only 3 here, the last 3 that you used. Now if you click the more button here, you're going to get all of them. And it actually has a nice little graphic there. You can go through these and pick which one you want. Now, if you click these little 3 dots on the side of any of these exercises, before you start your workout, you can click on here and you can pick your goals. You can have an open goal, which basically just means you just start working out and you'll tell the watch when you're done. But you could also do duration and calories. So if you click on duration, again, you can pick whatever you want there. Or you could do calories. And again, you can go through the options here. So really nice. Now, you can't edit this list at all on the watch, but you can do it on the app. So let me show you how to do that. Okay, you can let me know in the comments if you like this kind of layout where I show you some things on the watch and then I show you how to access it on the app and the phone. If you'd rather me just do all the features on the watch first and then do all the features on the app, you could let me know if that's better for you. But right now, I'm just going to go back and forth between them. At the end of the video, I'll go through any features that I missed on the app here. But right here, I'm in home. I'm going to go into exercise. And then you can see here, I get exercises along the top. And I can start my exercise from the phone if I'd like. I don't know why you'd really do that, but you could. And if you click up here, you could edit the order on these. You could see these. And we're going to go to the end here. It got as indoor cycle and yoga at the end. So if you click on this, this is those lists there. And indoor cycle, yoga. Again, I could delete these, but I can't add any new ones. I can only add them there. And then I could just move this up and down and rearrange them if I want. I'm not going to save that. If I want to change the order of the exercises that are on the watch, I have to go into device. And then we got to scroll into more settings. So I'm going to click on that. And then we're going to go into sports type, and you can see here 12 of 12. But I'm going to click there, and that's the 12 that I have on the watch. These are the exercises on the watch. And you can see here, rower and elliptical, rower and elliptical. So that's the list that's there. Now, if I want to edit that, I just hit this. Now you can see here, I still can't do anything unless I hit add. Now I just have the 12 up here, and then these are all grayed out. I can't add any in there yet. And if you go through the workouts here, they're kind of grouped together. So it makes it a little easier to find, ball sports, and you can go through here. But once you're in here and you want to change something, now you got to hit edit. And now I could minus some. Now if I don't want to use one of these, if I never use rowing machine, and I don't want a part of my 12, I just get rid of it. Now it's gone, and I can add it back in if I want, or I could add any other exercise in there if I want. Now once I'm done with this, again, now I could move them around if I want, just by this, and I can change the order. And then once I'm done with all that, then I hit done, and now it's saved to my watch. That's a way to kind of move these things around and edit everything. If you do more than 12 workouts at a time, then you're out of luck. Now, you could also change the autodetect. So let me just show you that. That's going to be right here, intelligent exercise. Let's click on that. These are the 4 exercises that it auto-detects, and I could turn any one of them on or off if I like. Then I could also do an auto pause if I want, and an auto end. Again, if you like those features, you can click those on. Now I counted 12 water sports on this, including pool swimming and open water swimming. When you start these workouts, it will automatically lock the screen so the water doesn't do anything funny and toggle anything on. And when you're done with your workout, it will automatically turn on a vibration and an audio chime to drain the water out of the speaker and the mic. Again, it's all done automatically. Now, if you do have pool swimming here, let me just show you. We're going to go into sports. I'm going to scroll down to pool swimming. There we go. And click on it. Ask you for the pool length. And having the pool length will just give you more accurate data on your swim. Now, I just want to show you, you do have access to your music while you are working out. So let me just click one of these workouts here. And then this is the data that I have. And if I scroll over this way, I'm going to get to pause it or end it. And if I scroll this way, I get into my music. And I could go to the next track, change the volume, or pause and stop it. And for some reason, if I forgot my earbuds or something like that, I can click on this. And then I could have it played back from the watch. Something I forgot to tell you about the exercises, which is a nice feature that they include on this. It's a nice customization. If I go into devices again, and then I'm going to go into more settings, I'm going to go into exercise data view. With any of these exercises, I can change the data that will actually be tracked. So if I click outdoor running, so this is what's available and what's being measured, then this is what's not. So if I want to include that, then I just hit edit, and then I could add those in. Now it includes all those things. Now I could save it. And it will be different for each exercise. So if I go do hiking, again, this is not in there yet. I could save it for that if I want. Let's go to pool swimming. So this is what's included on that one. So there's slightly different things that are included, and you could customize the data points that you want to have saved. And you can only do that on the app. You can't do that on the watch. So let's talk about sleep tracking. I'm on the home page again of the app, and we're just going to go into sleep. Okay, so I didn't sleep very good last night, right? Let's click on that. Let me just show you the data that's involved. It does track these stages, and then it gives you the details over here, and it gives you that information. So that's kind of nice. It also does give you a score, which is nice. And if you scroll through here, it'll show you some more data, and then we can get to more analysis. Now, it also gives you some nice information here. It gives you some tips and things like that. Yet you can go through, and at the bottom here, it goes into all the data. But I just want to show you this first. We're going to go into more analysis. So if I click on this, it gives you a bit of what's going on for the last week, or the last duration of whenever you've been using this for. And again, it gets back into this page, and then we're going to go into show all data. Now it gives you really detailed data on all this stuff, right? So it breaks it down more than a lot of other companies do, and a lot of other watches don't usually break it down this much. So you can see each stage. It shows you the graph. Most companies show you the graph, but they usually don't break it down like this, where you could actually have access to the exact times, the start and stop times for each stage. I don't know if you need all that information, but it's there. Now, comparing the sleep tracking with other watches that I have, typically the Gear Pro had me falling asleep a little sooner than most of my other watches, and it overestimated the deep sleep by just a little bit. But other than that, it was very accurate, and all the stages were accurate, and my wake times that I was keeping track of, it actually caught most of them very well. So I had no issues with the sleep tracking on this. There is no temperature sensor on this, so if that was present, then maybe the sleep tracking would be even more accurate, but it was fairly good, like I said. Now, it is compatible with Apple and Android. Now, let me show you the apps that are available on the watch. Now, there is no third-party apps that you could add to this. So all the apps that are on the watch are all the ones that you're going to get. So let me show you what is available here. I go through here. You got the settings on the bottom. You got a couple of games here if you want to play those. I don't have time for that, right? Let's move on. The calendar is just a basic calendar, but laid out really well. It just gives you access if you're trying to schedule something while you're on the phone or whatever. All that information is there, which is great. Now, another thing to notice is that this does have a calculator. Some watches, for some reason, leave this feature off, which is, something that I use a lot. And that's there, and it's a pretty nice calculator, no problems with that. So Find My Phone worked perfectly. Now, the camera is a pretty basic app. You have to turn on the camera on your phone already, but then if you're trying to take a selfie or, wide-angle shot or something like that, it gets the job done. There is no viewfinder in here or anything like that, but it has a shutter button, which is kind of all you need for the camera, right? Now, if you had a real keen eye, you might have noticed there's no timer or stopwatch on here. And I was about to give it some negative reviews here, but then I went through all the apps and I found it in clock. So here they are. You got the alarm, the stopwatch, and the timer, and they all work just fine. So let me just show you something, because the weather app is not toggled on by default for some reason. You have to actually enable it, probably because you have to give it permissions. So let me show you how to do that. We got to go into My Device, and we're going to go into More Settings. Let's scroll down. Weather push. You have to turn this on. It's enabled now, but it wasn't before. So you have to turn this on, and then you have to turn on automatic positioning, so it does give you accurate weather. If you're not seeing the weather information being populated, that's why. So click on that. Now, from what I could see, there is no way to delete these apps. If there's someone here that you just never use and you just want to get it off the list, you can't do it. And there also is no way to rearrange these, from what I could tell. So if you leave it in the comments if you figured out how to do it, or if there is a software update that allows that, that would be wonderful. But as of now, these are the apps that are there, and you can't minus them, delete them, or rearrange them. The other app I wanted to show you is the AI voice, which kind of worked intermittently. Now, usually I'll ask a question, and I expect to get the answer on the watch, even though I know it's using the phone's AI voice. So if you have Google or Apple, whatever you're using, it will actually just pop into that and use that, but then it will transfer the information here. But not always. So I have a Samsung phone, so when I did the AI voice, it turned on Google, and I got the answer through my phone, which kind of defeats the purpose of having this, because if I had my phone right next to me, then I could just use my phone to find it. So I don't know if this is really all that helpful, and this might be a little bit of a bug they're working on, but let me just show you. So if I do AI voice here, what is the capital of California? See, that's coming from my phone speaker, not the watch speaker. But sometimes it comes through the watch speaker, so I'm not exactly sure what I could toggle on to change that. I don't find that all that useful, but if you do, then great, it's there. Okay, let's talk about the text. So when you swipe up here, you get your text. And as you can see here, you do get emojis, which is nice, but you don't get any pictures. So that is definitely a disadvantage. When you do get a text, you got a red dot that's on the top there. So let me access it now. And I sent a very long text, and a lot of watches sometimes just give you like 1 or 2 lines, and you don't even know what the heck is going on with the text, and you don't know if you have to get your phone and respond to it or not. But this is a big text, and if you click on it here, this is what I got. So you can see all the text that's included on that. So you definitely know exactly what's going on. Even if it's a long text, you probably get almost all of it. But the disadvantage of this is that there is no way to respond to this. There's no pre-canned messages I can use. There's no voice to text. There's no keyboard. There's nothing else. Basically, my options are just to look at it and delete it. You'll definitely get the notification. I got them consistently and quickly, right away I got the text. And I did check WhatsApp. That works just fine on this. I get a lot of comments asking about that, so it does work on this just fine. You also get the ability to make and take phone calls on this, which is really nice. And the calls actually sounded very good to me, and the person on the other end said I sounded just fine. Let me just show you the dial pad on here. We get into here, and we'll just click on here. So I got my call history, so that would show me all the previous history of what I had, and the frequent contacts, I could add those. I'll show you how to do that, and then I get the dial pad. And, it works just fine like anything else. Let me show you what the phone call looks like coming through. Okay, now we have a phone call coming in here. And these are my options. I can answer it or I can end it. I can't respond to, like, I'll call you back in 5 minutes. I don't have any pre-canned texts or anything like that. So that is definitely a disadvantage on this. But again, otherwise the phone calls work just fine. Okay, I'm back in the Very Fit app here, and I'm on the home screen. But I'm going to go into Devices, and I got to get into Calls. So if I go onto here, I can toggle this on so I actually will know if I'm getting a phone call or not. And then Frequently Used Contacts. So I can hold up to 20 on here. So if I click on this, if I click Add, it's going to bring up my contact list, and I could add my favorite 20 contacts and save it to the watch. I thought the speaker on this was plenty loud, but let me just show you so you can get a feel for it. I'm going to go into Settings here, and we got to get into Sounds and Vibration, and then bring volume. And I'm going to just bring this all the way up. So I think that's pretty loud, right? And then you could also have different ring calls if you want. So I have these. And then for my message ringtone, I have a little bit less options. It's not bad, though, that you have different things that you can do. Then we also have the vibration intensity on here. You get 3 modes. Most watches only give you 2, but you got the strong, moderate, and weak, and I felt the vibration on this was plenty strong, so no problems with that. If you're using this for an alarm, again, you could have the vibration, but then you could also have the audio chirp on there, so that will definitely wake you up if you need to. Okay, so now Udfine says that you get 200 plus watch faces. I didn't count it, but I'll take their word for it. Not all of them are free. Some of them are like 50 cents or $1, so that's better than some companies that charge you $2 or $3 for these. But there was a pretty good selection of free watch faces. There's a lot of dynamic watch faces. So if you see here, there's something just moving in the background and just kind of a little more exciting watch face. So if you're into that, then there's definitely some choices for you. The bad thing is there's not a lot of customizations on this. So if I wanted to change the color on this or change the complications, most of the watch faces you can't do much. Some of them you can, but most of them you can't. Let me just show you here. I'll click on this one here. Now, if I click on these are all shortcuts. So that's the SPO2. If I click on it, it'll take me there, which is a nice thing. Now, if I go here, now if I change the watch face to this one, just to show you here, there again, you can't change too much on them, but sometimes you can. So if I just tap the middle, it changes it to different things, which is nice. Then I got the icons on the side here. If I just tap this, it changes it to something different. And then if I push and hold it, it will take me to that icon. It will take me to that app. So that's kind of a cool thing that you do get some customizations on there, but most of the watch faces don't have that. Let me show you where the watch faces are. They're in device. Then we got to scroll to the top here and go into watch faces. And at the end of the video, I'll have a B-roll where I'll just show you the watch faces that are available here so you can see what's going on. But they break them down a little bit, and you could also put your own photo on here if you'd like. So let me show you how to do this. Now, you can only hold 6 watch faces on the watch at a time. So I already have 6 on there. So if I go to install it, it's going to tell me I can't. So I'm going to pick which one I want to delete. It takes me to the watch faces for me to delete. I'm going to get rid of this one. Now I'm done with that. And now I'm going to try to install it again. And you can see here, it's installing on the watch. These go through very quickly. Now if we go back to the watch face that I had, I just gotta, for some reason you gotta just scroll it right through here. I don't know what that is. But then I just select the photo and then that will show up on the background here, and then you get the little clock in the corner like that. So it's a nice customization that you can do. Okay, so let me just go through the app here and just cover anything that I missed here. So let's go back to the home screen. So this is where everything's laid out and all your data is here. Just showing you what's available there. Now, if you go up to the top here, you could actually change this, which is nice. So right now I got these big boxes with the information. I can click on this. If I go to the top, I can click on this and I can make them just small little lines so you can scroll through them a little quicker. So it's nice that you're able to actually update the display, which is kind of cool. Then if I go to edit, I can move these things around. I could delete them. I can move them, whatever I want to do. Then if I go down to the bottom, there's a couple on there that I could add if I wanted to. Now, if I put it into the box mode here, it's actually also kind of cool when I edit it. Now I can have it this way. I could move it over to here, and I can move it up and down. So it's nice, just you can rearrange everything. I don't know. I thought that was cool. Now, in this page 2, we have the theme skinning. So let me show you that. I click on themes here. I got a couple of themes that are on my thing. This is the default, and that's the one I'm using. Now, if you want to pick top picks here, let's go to free of charge. Okay, so these are available free of charge. You can go through these. I don't know. Let's pick this one, see what it looks like. And it's free, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And so this is the app, and if I go into here, let me just keep going here, and you can see that's in the background now. So that, and it's in the background behind, in the picture behind all these icons. So that's kind of cool that you can change all these things. I don't know of any other app that allows you to do that. So that's kind of a cool customization. And then again, these are all the data points. So let's get into exercise. You have all the exercises on top here. And again, you could rearrange those. There's not too much to do here if you usually start your exercises with the watch. But we go into devices here, and then click on here. This shows, again, the battery manager. And this is also if you need a software upgrade, if we think there might be one, this is what you click on right here. Then we got notifications. So you got to enable them, obviously, to get any notifications to the watch. And then these are this appears to be all the apps that you can get notified from. I'm not sure if there's a way to turn more on, but that's all I had on here, and I didn't see a way to add more on there. So if someone knows, let me know. Then we got an alarm clock, self-explanatory, just set an alarm if you want. Calls, we went through this. And then this is the health tracking. This is where all those features are that you could adjust. So the heart rate, the stress, the SpO2, all those things. You could turn on the drinking reminder or hand washing reminder if you want to do that. The sleep science, if you turn this on, then it will measure your breathing quality while you're sleeping. If you don't need that information, you want to save some battery, then turn that off. And I'll just show you the respiratory rate. And you got to turn this on to get the respiratory rate while you're sleeping. Again, if you're not doing sleep monitoring, then you can just turn those off and save some battery. Then we go into more settings. We went through most of these. You could turn on Do Not Disturb if you want. This is your autodetect sports. This is the sports type that, again, you could add and move around and do whatever you want with those. And this is the exercise data review, where you can click on them and you could pick whatever data you want to be collected for that exercise. Find My Phone, you could toggle that on and off if you don't want that feature. Music control, you want that enabled so you could see the music control and control it. That's where your weather is, that you got to turn that on to enable it. And then this is where the tiles are. These are the widgets. So if you go here and scroll across, those are the widgets that you're going through. So if you click on it, you could delete them and you could move them. So you could go like this. I can move them up and down to change the order if I want, and then I could delete it. But I didn't see anything to add. This is the only thing that's there to add, the one that I just minused. So I believe these are all the tiles that are there, and there's no customization to these tiles. Again, if you found a way to customize these further, let me know. And that's it for this one. Then I'm going to go into My Device here. This is where you would change the units. Sometimes people have questions about that, what units you want. You can change all of these right here and save it. This is where the settings are. So these are some things that you can change. And this is the theme skinning that we just went over, where you can change to different ones. I don't really care for this one at all, so I'm going to have to change that. So those are all the features that are available on the app and the watch. Let me wrap up this video. I'm going to go over the pros and cons of it. Big pro is the blood pressure. I really like that, and I think that's an amazing feature, and I'm very surprised that other watches are not able to do that. So that's a big pro in my book. You can make and take phone calls on this, which is great. The build quality on this is great. It's rated for 5 atmospheres, and all the fitness data was actually very accurate in my testing. You got that cool second screen that I really love. You also do have a bright AMOLED screen here, and you do have an always-on display. You do get great battery life on this, and it does work with Apple and Android. That's great. It does have a rotating crown, which I love. Watches that don't have it are, I think, very hard to navigate, so having that, for me, is pretty much a must. The rotating crown on this one feels very durable, and it actually has physical clicks, which is really nice. You also do get a second watch strap included with the watch and a screen protector, which is included. Again, little things, but that's really nice that they do that. The phone app and the watch software seems to be very refined. I had no issues using any of them. And the other big pro is the price. Now, the price does change a little bit, so I'm going to leave a link in the description for where you can find it. And normally this retails for $120, but it is frequently on sale, so check that out for some promotions. Now, a couple of cons. The no watch is perfect, right? Now, a big con is that you can't reply to text. That might be a deal breaker for some people. And you don't get images with the text. So if you're basically getting this watch for the notifications, you might be a little disappointed. The other thing I didn't like about this is no auto brightness. It does make up for it a little bit, that you can toggle it very quickly and change the brightness intensity very quickly, but I wish there was an auto brightness on it. And the other negative is there is no third-party apps on here. But other than that, like I said, I think this is a great watch. I love that it has the blood pressure measurement on there. I love that second screen that you can scroll very quickly, and everything works as it's supposed to. All the features on here work well. The fitness measurements are all very accurate. So I think this is a great watch. I think it's a good value and something to check out. Even though you probably haven't heard of this brand before, it is a sub-brand of Xiaomi, and that's a very big company. So that's why everything seems pretty refined on it. If there's any questions or concerns, leave them in the comments. I try to answer every comment that I get. Otherwise, I will see you on the next video, and thank you for watching.